Howdy, folks. Saturday night. Man, I passed out earlier. So, I was watching Executioner. No, not the Exterminator. The Exterminator. It's 1980. And it has Steve James in it. If you know who he is, he was the black dude in American Ninja. And watching Executioner and thinking about American Ninja, Steve James is so much cooler than Michael Dudikoff and Robert Ginty, like the main stars in those movies. Definitely a better martial artist than both of them. He's just so cool and charismatic and a badass. That so how come he was never the action star? And then I found out he passed away at a very early age from cancer. I was like, man, sucks. So I was looking up his filmography, and he was the lead in like 2 movies. And the one I watched, Street Hunter. Is that what it's called? I think it's called, yeah, it's Street Hunter. I want to say City Hunter, but I think that's a Jackie Chan movie, and that's what they call the Predator and Predator 2. It's called Street Hunter from 1990, and I watched it on YouTube, and it was good because actually it was okay, but Steve James' presence, he's a good guy. He plays Logan Blade is his name. He's a bounty hunter. But the bad guy, like the big bad that he fights, is Reb Brown, and also Reb Brown against Steve James. Gotta see it. And then I didn't know it has John Leguizamo in it, and he's the bad guy. He's a little gangster twerp, and he's really good in it. It has oh god, Frankie from Casino. I can't remember his real name. I know his real name is Frank, but I can't remember his last name. He's like a mob boss. So that's a pretty good cast, and it starts out with some good action, and it's pretty like the gunfights are good, bloody. People fly back, and then there's some unintentionally funny parts that made it really good, but it is kind of dull. When it lulls, like the second, like 30 minutes was good, and then like it's an hour and a half, so from 30 minutes to an hour, I was okay. I'm getting kind of a little bored here. But then it has I got pretty drunk, but I remember it had a really good ending with Steve fighting Reb. And the only thing, Steve James, he has like a duster on and like a cow. It's more like Indiana Jones hat. And I was like, it looks kind of weird on him. He's not too tall, so it makes him look kind of squat. But because he's in really good shape, he's badass. And you get to see a little bit of his fighting skills, and he's so fast, and like he's quick and he's powerful. So he looks good when he's kicking ass. Oh, and he has a dog. And he drives around in a van. He's like a vigilante superhero kind of, and he does come off to me. He's so cool in American Ninja. He's still cool in this, but yeah, the whole duster Indiana Jones hat kind of made him look kind of dopey, kind of. But I looked for the VHS. It's just too expensive. I can't remember how much, but I know like I looked at it and I was like, no, I'm not buying that. But it's on YouTube, and I think it's a VHS rip. It's got to be because it's a little dark and fuzzy. But I'm glad I watched it because Steve James, man, he's so cool, and he's in a lot of movies. He was in Weekend at Bernie's 2, which I kind of want to see. I kind of want to see all of his bit roles because he did come out. He was in I'm Gonna Get You, Sucker. Um, I think all the American Ninja movies, something, and some pretty big movies where he had like a tiny role. But I mean, he's not as awesome as Carl Weathers, who never got his break either. I don't think is Action Jackson. He's so badass in that. He's so badass. And anyway, Steve James. He's a really cool. Man, that scared me. Listening to music to go brain cells. But yeah, don't buy the VHS. It's just outrageous. But it's on YouTube. And if you don't know who Steve James is, like, you could look him up or just watch Street Hunter. He has another movie that's on YouTube that I want to see called Riverbend. I'll definitely check that out. I might even check out the American Ninja movies, but I remember them being good, but I hear they're not as good as maybe I might remember they were. Let's see what else happens in. Oh yeah, for Red Brown. Red Brown's good. He's screaming, he's shooting, and he's a better. It seems like he got better as an actor as he went along and made more movies. He's pretty good in this. I read a review that it said like John Leguizamo is like 12 years old in this. Yeah, he is super young. He also kind of reminded me of Sammy Guevara from AEW. And then that's about it. Yeah, it's not that good, but the cast elevates it. There's a funny part where John Leguizamo's gang, he's hired Red Brown to be like his military enforcer, and he's approaching it like a war. So they're taking out other mobsters, and it's a typical like there's a guy eating spaghetti, the napkin, and he's got his guards, and the waiters are the killers. And they look so they're like smiling maliciously, and they shoot his guards, and then the guy comes up, strangles him with a wire or something, and he's dead in like 2 seconds. He's just like. And there's another part where like there's I guess he's a mobster, like a head of the mob, and he's just walking as you see a wall, and he's just walking, and they shoot him, and I was like, what was he doing? What was he doing strutting by a wall to be shot? So, but it's not as that good. It's not like let's see what's a good action. Can't think of anything. It's not like Cyborg Cop level good or Lady Terminator craziness. Almost. The direction is really bland. I was watching this, came out in 1990, and it made me think of, is this such a heavy mobster element? I was like, man, Scorsese and De Palma, they're really good filmmakers. They really have a flair. This is just so flatly shot, very pedestrian. But Steve James, man, get into him, because I mean, we had Wesley Snipes is awesome. He made great action movies, but it's just a shame that Steve James never got the recognition he deserved as a badass, because he's so cool, he's so charismatic, and he seems like a really nice guy too. And then he's a good actor too. He's pretty good. I mean, he's not great, but it's just more his whole demeanor just carries him, like he jumps off the screen, and he's like, he knows everyone in the neighborhood. He's like, he walked on the street, he's like, hey, what's up, Joe? He's like, how you doing, Sam? He's like, I know your mother, I know your so yeah, you just like root for him. So I'm gonna check out that movie Riverbend and just see. There's some other stuff. I can't remember what, but he's always got a bit role. I'll talk about The Executioner later. Read this too.